Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I hope you had a great 4th of July. I had a good time with my family. As promised, I came on to do a little video. I want to talk about a few things. And this is Summer Wells. She's missing out of Rogersville, Tennessee. If you know anything, please call 1-800-TBI-FIND. She's been missing for 2 years. She went missing when she was 5. She's 7 now. And this is her house. This is where she lived. And it was only 2 minutes that her mother said that she came and checked for Summer and she was gone. Now I want to say something. I don't believe Candace's story about the flowers, and I don't believe it was 2 minutes. And she left those boys alone all day, Summer's brothers, all day long. And so you're not going to tell me that she just left Summer for 2 minutes. I do not believe the boys seen Summer. I mean, they might have seen her earlier in the day, but, you know, it's very possible that Candace just said to the boys, I told you to watch Summer. I told you I'd be right back. And, you know, I don't know. Maybe she went downstairs to play. But I bet you, look at that. I do believe she was drugged in this photo and in a couple other ones. One where she's swimming. The one where she's swimming, it looks like her eyes are drugged. And she looks drugged in that one. But anyways, I just don't believe Candace or Don. But the problem here is that I truly believe that Don Wells is the person who took Summer Wells. I believe he did something with her. I believe, like Jonathan Lee Riches said last night, on his video, well, yesterday I watched it on one of his videos. He said that he believes Protective Services was coming the next day to pick up Summer. That she was going to be removed from the house, and then all of a sudden she came up missing. I believe that, you guys. I believe that with all my heart. That Don did something with her because he did not want Protective Services to see or talk to her or find out what happened to her, anything that was going on in the house. You know, I do believe the boys have said more than what we know. You know, the police, TBI is not going to tell you all the information. They're not going to say everything. I'm sorry. They're going to hold everything close until they have everything they need to make an arrest. So I don't believe the bullcrap stories around this, but I do believe, like Dudley said that Don was upset the night before, and he looked like he lost his best friend. Fred Hill said he talked to him and he was staring off. Some other guy said he talked to Don Wells and he was staring off at some distance like something was wrong. His prayer before the church was weird, asking God to forgive him and that he'll follow his commandments from now on. So I don't know. You know, I can't really say, you know, for a fact that Don is guilty of doing anything, but it is my suspicion. And it is my belief, look at that mattress, that Don is the person involved mostly in the situation, and Candace. I think they both know. I think they're together because they have something on each other. Now, I know that Jonathan, different people, Jonathan was showing, I believe it was Jonathan was showing that there was some guy standing in front of the room of the hotel room where Don and Candace were staying. And so, where they are staying. Maybe Candace isn't even there anymore. Maybe that's somebody else. Because Candace was supposed to go help Don's daughter. So, she's got some kind of blood disease. And I wouldn't doubt if that house is filthy just as much as theirs is filthy. I don't know. But what I'm saying is either that guy that was in the picture had a lanyard around his neck that's in front of Don and Candace's hotel door. So, I don't know who he is. He could be an investigator. He could be from, who knows. But maybe there is drug dealing going on there. I wouldn't doubt that for a minute. This picture always bothered me. I mean, she looks so beat down, so bad looking. And she does have the same dress on and the same pants on that she was with her daddy in her arms that day. It's weird that some of her pictures look way older and some of her pictures look way younger. You know, I have a hard time understanding this. How can she look so old in some and so young in the others? You know what I mean? But anyways, Jonathan Lee Richards exposed and found out that Don Wells was caught breaking into someone's house and stealing their panties. And, you know, I have said to you guys all along, Don, I believe, is a sexual deviant. I believe he's got something wrong with him and that he is capable of doing a lot of really bad things. And so, Dolly Vision, he was talking about Don tonight, and he was saying that, you know, that's kind of serial killer bull crap, because it is. Or rapist bull crap, because people who do those kind of things are really strange and they are predators. And now I put on my post that Jody Sue, I believe her, that he was creeping around her property and doing weird things. So, yeah. I do believe that there's a strange reason that Jody Sue wanted to be, you know, wants to be on YouTube 24 hours a day, every day. And she wants to trash everybody else. And she gets mad. She gets real mad at all these creators and people. And I really don't know what her problem is. It seems like it really bothers her a lot. And so that makes me think she's suspicious. But anyways, yes. I want you to hear something. And I want to go back. I want you to think about this. I'm going to show you. Hold on here. Now, a lot of people say that Summer Wells' footprints, that she was outside, last seen outside on Ben Hill Road or whatever, Beach Creek. That is not true. And I'm going to say it again. Jonathan, a year ago, he posted this. And TBI confirms with me, Summer Wells was not seen walking down the road. She was not. So, hold on here. I gotta find my remote. I don't know where it is. My dog's laying on it. Anyways.
Around 7 o'clock on June 15th. And TBI responded to my tweet when I asked them if this is true. I mean, because that would be almost like a game changer.
Hold on, I have to turn this up.
And they said they are not aware of Summer Wells being outside, seen walking down Ben Hill Road, 7 p.m. on June 15th. So that's not true, everyone. So I know people are spreading around that Summer Wells was seen walking down the streets outside the home.
Or outside, yeah.
That's not true. I'll show you the tweet right now. Summer Wells is still missing. Let's find Summer Wells. Where is Summer Wells? Where is she? If you have any information, contact the Tennessee Borough Investigation at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Know any information about her whereabouts or have surveillance or anything around that June 15th day, or know any information on where Summer Wells could be, contact authorities immediately. Let's find Summer Wells. Let's bring her home.
They said that she was originally seen outside, last seen walking away from her home on Ben Hill Road, blah, blah, blah. But that was the original story. Hold on. Hello, thanks for reaching out. Summer was reported last seen at her home on June 15th. We are not aware of anyone, excuse me, I don't know why it left me.
Hey, everyone.
Hold on. Not of anyone reporting that they saw her walking along Ben Hill Road that day. So no, Summer Wells was not outside walking. She wasn't outside doing nothing. So that's what Jonathan had confirmed, okay? So, all these people want to say her footprints were here, this was found, her scent was led down to the road. I don't believe that. And once again, I want to remind everybody, even though people are still talking about it and they don't understand, I just did a video, my last video. Don Wells told Prairie Boy that he was driving on a revoked license. He told the kid's caseworker, their caseworker, and they reported it to the judge. And the judge told his probation officer, and he was called back to Tennessee because obviously he didn't inform his parole officer. So, he got in trouble for that. So we'll see what happens. He might end up going back to jail because he seems like he's getting in a lot of trouble, and I think some things are going to come down. I really do. But I want you to hear, I think this was important. I thought it was important. I want you to hear the police, just a small clip under fair use and copyright laws. Just a small clip of what the police off the cuff had to say like a year ago, and to remind everybody what police officers think about this case. Listen to this.
They don't have no evidence, and there's no way they could ever have evidence because it's impossible.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was at the wrong one. Excuse me.
Okay, trivia about it's lightning round time.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Legend. All right, guys. One more point.
Is 100% going to turn out to be the fact.
Hold on.
Can't.
Okay, listen
And
from
possibly the grandmother. So we're making that statement, or we're giving our opinion in that direction based on us really examining what fact, the facts that we know already. The facts are that there's a 4-hour window that we believe that she was last seen, and then she was reported, and what happened in that period of time. And I really believe what you said is 100% going to turn out to be the fact that Candace and Don were the ones who were the adults in that compound or that home, that area, and they're going to have the answers to this. And quite likely, if there was some horrible thing that happened to Summer, that they may wind up in handcuffs. I mean, and I think that's based on what we know. And again, we don't have intimate knowledge of the case folder. It's not in front of me. It's not in front of you. But our professional opinions, I mean, and I don't think it's too hard to agree with what I'm saying, is that pretty much everybody believed there was all the stuff that happened from early in the morning with the going to the watering hole, going to the hospital, going to the drugstore, going to the stores, ingesting alcoholic beverages, possibly painkillers in there. We know about all of that. We've pretty much, based on the statements that Candace and Don made, we believe those things to be true. But the more important thing is that they came back to the house and they were in the home, hopefully around 2:30, and then she's reported at 6:30, 2:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. So, I mean, if you know that for a fact, which it's I don't know if it's 100% fact, but we believe it to be pretty true. What happened in that 4 hours? And again, we had Dave Rader that was on.
Listen, it's my same question that I've asked. What happened in 4 hours? And Sheriff Lawson wants to know. He wanted to know too because he asked that question. That's a big timeline. And Leslie Earhart, and I will say this again, Leslie Earhart said that Summer Wells went missing earlier that day. And they had spent time looking for her and then called the police. So what happened in the 4 hours? He brings us back. Okay.
The ground and saw search was at that location. In his opinion, led us to the fact that we believe that she wasn't abducted.
Dave Radar from
Phil, I
AquaSearch.
want to just go back. I always want to go back to this very early, this was a day or two after it occurred, this video, because I think it just says so much, and nothing has really changed since this video. So let me give it a play here.
Okay, we're going to just go past this because I can't handle this interview. It's been played thousands of times, and it drives me insane because it just reminds me of just a bull crap story.
Everything else, and I feel for them.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I watch that, I just get people are fooled by that because he speaks so softly. He comes across as a nice guy. He's not a nice guy. I mean, he's totally not he's been to prison. He's got some serious issues, this guy. As far as the essay, and I'll use those two letters that it doesn't get cured. This guy was doing that. He's continued to do it. And he's probably, essayed other members of his family. And the fact that people were arguing that this is a good guy, it baffles me because we know differently,
I just want to say about that video, that interview. There's so many things that jump out at me about that video. Now, I talked about this before, that our experience with people, I mean, being on the NYPD for 22 years, from day one, you got involved. I mean, people that have their life together and everything's going good and they're on the straight and narrow don't have too much interaction with the police. A lot of times we have interaction with people that have narcotic abuse, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, whatever. The point is this. When you're looking at that video, right off the bat, right away, first red flag, they both appear to be possibly intoxicated or on narcotics or something. So that's red flag number one. But there's something that really jumps out. Don is convinced, he says, I know right from the beginning she was abducted. Now, when we looked at that from our standpoint, and having Don Rader on the ground, we don't think that that's even possible. How did he say 100% he knows that she was abducted? That would be one of the things that I would definitely re-interview him on, and I would hit back on that. I mean, I would be loaded for bear, as they say, with other facts and knowing that maybe there was an inconsistency in what he said or his story, his initial statements. And that's why when I conduct an investigation or I did a murder investigation, I always try to get from the beginning a really good, solid interview. And then I would work out from there and say, okay, he said A, B, and C. And I would check out A, B, and C. And when I would find the inconsistencies with A, B, and C, that's when I would go back for the re-interview and hit hard on the inconsistencies. But if you look at that video, and I'm not trying to disparage anyone, it appears that they may be people that have they have an addiction abuse. Okay, it's clear. They both look like they're high. And then the second thing, I could probably find a dozen things that I don't like about that interview, but he's convinced. They're both convinced that she was abducted. And I noticed in the chat somebody said that the milk video was taken at 3:10 p.m. Okay, that could be. I was saying the window. I put it out from 2:30 to 6:30. I think they may have called the police before 6:30. Might have even been around 6:15, or that's when they noticed a missing. So my point is this: there's a period of time, a window, and the window is 3 to 4 hours, let's say, just generally. And I know that somebody put that on there 3:10. I don't even know if that's true, if that video was taken in. But however, there is a way to find out exact time and exact location that video was taken, because that cell phone, any smartphone, has a date timestamp, and it also has a location stamp. So those are the things that we've talked about in previous shows that the police, the FBI, and the TBI will be looking into. If she said she took that video and she was by Walgreens, they'll be able to tell from her smartphone if she was at Walgreens when she took that video and the exact date and time. And those are the things that we've explored in this case. We're not going by YouTube, opinions. We're going by fact and things that we know. And these are the tools of investigation that they're going to be enlisting, the FBI, the TBI, and the local police. And there's so many other things. We talked about if they were in the store, there's a video. If they were in the emergency room, there's a video. If they made calls, the cell phones, I know that the cell phone service is spotty there, but if you connect to a cell tower or if you're using the phone, it gives a cell tower, just having it on gives you an area where the phone is at the time. If you're talking on it, if you're making a call, or if you're sending a text message, it gives an almost exact location. When I say almost exact, within a couple of feet. So these are the things that you would try to explore, and you try to impeach these things as far as they're not fact. And you go back, and that's when you examine and you re-interview, and then you get the person to tell you the truth about what they're not telling the truth about.
Phil, I just want to address someone in the chat named G-Dog. She wrote, okay, he admitted to SA. He isn't the nice guy he makes out, but why does that make him guilty of Summer's disappearing? It doesn't make him guilty. It sure makes him a hell of a good suspect, though, because, the SA that we're talking about is a felony. It's not a misdemeanor. It's not a little slap on the wrist crime. It's a felony. It's horrendous. And if he's capable of doing that, do you think he's capable of killing his daughter, or hiding his daughter, or selling his daughter? He's capable of all of those things. So to make light of the SA is ridiculous. I mean, this guy is a bad guy. I had said early on in this investigation that I felt he was a career criminal. And you should see some of these other people on the other channels that have absolutely zero law enforcement experience, have zero experience doing investigations, and they, oh my God, how can you call him a career criminal? Because he is,
You're not making that statement from left field, Bill. I mean, when we would go, if day one today, right now, someone was being reported missing, and me and you showed up to take the information on the missing person case, we would get his name, his date of birth, and we would run him to see if he has a criminal history. That would be to either exclude him as being involved in a missing person case, possible criminal activity, or include him. Now, if he had a criminal history of domestic abuse, which he does, we know that for a fact. He was arrested back in October before the Summer went missing. He was arrested with a gun. He was intoxicated, and he was charged with domestic abuse on Candace. She later dropped the charges. So now he was drunk. He was being belligerent and abusive towards her, and he had an illegal firearm. So we know that for a fact. And then there's other criminal history. Now, how can anyone say that that's not pertinent to this investigation? It 100% is. And you're making the statement that you're making, Bill, based on that. Yep. And this is just routine police work. Anybody that's going to be reporting or involved, listen, I mentioned it earlier. Those 3 adults were home in the house. Those 3 people, I would almost 100% guarantee, I do guarantee it, that they were run to see if they have criminal records. And we found out that, sure enough, Don does have a criminal past. Now, that does not make him guilty. I'm going to stress that. That does not, in and of itself, make him guilty of crime, of doing something horrible, to Summer. Again, it does not make him guilty of that. However, he needs to be looked at, he needs to be spoken to, and these things are not out of the realm with an investigation on a missing person case. You'd always run the person to see if they have criminal activity. You want to see if who's reporting this person missing has credibility. That's what it's about. Do they have credibility? So, you're making that statement, Bill. I'm 100% in agreement with that he has a criminal history, and that's the red flag. That's another red flag. You need to, again, does not make him guilty of anything. We know that people that have criminal history does not make them guilty of everything, but I would definitely be shining a spotlight on him and trying to get more information out of him, and I would want to get the truth and the facts. That's the thing with this case. We're going to only talk about facts. We can give our opinions on certain things based on a fact, and we'll back it up with that, but we're not going to, somebody wrote in here, every time you breathe, there's another video on YouTube regarding this case, and that's quite true, but we're not going to get caught up in the, hypothetical situations or hypothetical stories or rumors. And we just had that thing from the other day where they said he was arrested and he wasn't. It was total BS. So we're basing what we say on the facts that we know and our professional opinions.
Someone just asked in the chat, I want to just, Nicole Wilson, thank you so much for your $4.99 super chat. Do you think Don would have been cleared by now if he had a good alibi? Well, if his alibi excluded him from any possibility of being involved in this, for example, being 12 hours away or 10 hours away and couldn't have possibly been involved in this, yeah, that would totally clear him or exclude him. But that's not the case. And I think the investigators know exactly where Don and
He
Candace
hasn't
were
been cleared,
based
so
on their
his
cell phones
alibi
and
is
cell
no
site
good.
information. There may also be GPS information inside the computers in the cars. So I think they know, yeah, well, so to answer your question, yes, he would have been cleared if he had a strong alibi, but guess what? He does not have a strong alibi.
That was a great question by Nicole, a great comment. And the reason I say that is this. If the police were very confident, the FBI, the TBI, the local police were confident that he had a good alibi, wasn't involved, with all the negative publicity that's been out, I am certain they would have come out and said, we don't think that he is a person of interest in this case, either him or his wife or whoever. I think they would have done that, and it's happened before in case there was, a woman goes missing right away, they always look at the husband. There's been cases where they come out publicly and say, we don't believe that the husband is a person of interest in this disappearance. And I feel very strongly, that had that been the case, and I'm very glad that that young lady made that comment, that they would have said, we don't believe that Don is a person of interest in this case. They would have definitely come out publicly. You agree, Bill?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Someone else in the chat, they said, if you don't believe that Summer was abducted, then what do you think happened to her? I don't like to just predict, but I don't think anything good happened to her, I'll put it that way, I've spoken to Dave Rader as recently as a few days ago, and I respect that man. There he is, the big tall guy in the back. That's the whole Equus Midwest search team who have been to Hawkins County, and they're ready to come back if requested. He totally, from day one, said he felt that based on the terrain and where she was reported missing from, he felt that abduction was such a long shot that he discounted it. So, I mean, I respect Dave Rader to no end, Tim Miller, the Equus search people. And, I think that they, as I said, they're ready to come back and utilize drones. Could there have been areas that have been missed? Absolutely. Absolutely, it could have been areas that have been missed. So with drones, they could come in there and maybe cover some of those areas that were missed on the foot search. So, look, to answer the original question, I think something bad happened to Summer. At this point, I would love to be hopeful and say I hope she's recovered alive, but I think time now. It's been 81 days since she was reported missing. Time is not on our side at this point. So I hate to say that, unfortunately, being in this business for 27 years, I don't think anything good happened to Summer.
I just want to make a comment about Dave Rader. Now, Dave Rader is not an investigator. However, he's involved in this.
Okay, so I just thought, you know, these are two professional retired police officers, and they did their take on this and what they feel, and I feel the same way that they do. I feel that, they also were going to talk about if they passed their polygraphs, the police would never ever say that. They would never tell anybody online or the news. They would not. So they did not believe that Don and Candace were telling the truth about their polygraphs. And they also said, Don talks about Candace passing her polygraph, but he really didn't say much about his own. Also, you know, I was looking for the video tonight. I wanted to show you, because it's always bothered me, that when Brian Eaton went and did an interview with Don Wells, in one of them, he's standing outside, and remember the video, remember when he said something about, did Candace meet the wrong friends? Well, in that same video, Brian Eaton asked if he would take him around the property. First he told him he would, and then he said no. And he didn't want him anywhere near that property or looking around. And like I've said, he got mad at EquiSearch. He got mad at a lot of people. They don't want anybody searching for Summer on their property. They don't want anybody on the property whatsoever. And I've never really understood that. But I do believe, I truly do, that, let me see if I can find that one picture, that one, hold on. Sorry about that. Hold on. Almost there. No, not yet. Right here.
And attack everyone in the city. And in that point in time, they will be destroyed.
This picture right here. He seriously looks like he's crying. He looks like he's upset. And he's giving her a hug goodbye. That's what I feel like. And I feel like just what Jonathan said and others have said, that Protective Services was coming to take his little girl away, and he made sure that they couldn't do that. And I don't know what he did with her, but he sure mentions trafficking a lot. I mean, it's nonstop. He says she's probably with some mother effer up in some motel room, effing some mother effer. I don't know why you could talk about your daughter like that. She looks like a little baby here. And you could talk about her like that. But yeah, I believe that he was saying goodbye to her. I believe it. I believe Marlena Crawford, when she said that her little girl said that Summer was packing her suitcase. She was going somewhere. I believe she was dressed up in the back of that vehicle and that she was drugged because she was being taken somewhere. That's my personal opinion. I don't have any proof of any of that. I'm not a police detective. I'm not some big investigator or anything like that. I'm just sharing my opinion of what I think happened to Summer Wells. I believe her father did something with her. I pray that they, that something's about to break soon, because it sure seems like it, you guys. It really does. I don't believe Fred Hill. I really don't. I think he tells a lot of stories, a lot of bullcrap stories, and I think he knows that Ziggy has a channel and that he would get some attention by saying the story and like helping her, and then plus she would send him money. I think that. Maybe he did have something to do with Summer Wells' disappearance. Maybe there's a lot of suspects that could have something to do. Why did 423 Chase get involved in the beginning? That was weird. I didn't think Dudley could be a suspect, but then later on, he had a motivation to. And it's weird that Don sent him there at 3 o'clock in the morning. So he was worried about him, so maybe. But I don't know. I think Don Wells knows exactly what happened to his daughter. And I think it's all going to bust out and come out pretty soon. I don't have anything really against Jonathan Lee Riches. Sometimes he puts out some stuff, good stuff, info. But then sometimes, he really is stalking a lot of people and following them around. And that's not good. That's scary. You wouldn't want him doing that to you. And besides, if you make false police reports, if people do those kind of things, the police are just going to get mad and you can get in trouble for that. And it just messes with the case. It don't do anything but take up their time. So unless you got something important, really important, that you really truly believe a crime is happening, you should not be calling Protective Services or TBI or Hawkins County. Just think, I see like 2 or 3 people call in Hawkins County. Just think if everybody was doing that. Seriously. Just think of how many people, if just a few, you see a few, there's probably a lot more. I mean, there's crazy people on YouTube who think everything is very suspicious to them. There's a lot of things suspicious in this case, and I believe that it's all going to come out. I truly do. So, anyways, you guys, it seems like I wanted to tell you something else, and now I can't remember, but I do think it's quite disgusting that not only is Don Wells an S-A-S-O, R-S, he's not an RSO, but he should be registered, but he's an SO. I believe he's a sexual deviant. I believe he's got problems, stealing panties, come on. What was he planning on doing eventually? I mean, that's very scary. Was he going to rape that woman? Was he obsessing in his mind about her? Very, very strange behavior, you guys. And I think some really bad stuff's about to come out. But yeah, I believe Dudley when he said that Don looked like he lost his best friend. And he looked sad, like he's telling her goodbye. And he said that was only like a few days before she went missing. And I believe Summer Wells went missing because of Child Protective Services. They did not want any evidence. And he said they'll never find any evidence. So, anyways, you guys, I want to tell you that I appreciate all of you, your comments. Welcome to my new subscribers. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate all my subs, and I value your input, and I love it when you leave a comment. So let me know what you're thinking, or if you've heard anything new. And I hope everybody has a good weekend this weekend, and that you just stay cool because it's been hot. But God bless you all. Love you. And I will talk to you soon. Okay, keep praying for Summer Moon Utah Wells. She's still missing. Out of Rogersville, Tennessee. If you have any clues or info regarding her disappearance, please call 1-800-TBI-FINE. Thank you and good night. Bye.